Hey there, neighbors and naysayers. April 8th, 2025. This is first day of grazing, so it's opening day for us here at Spring Valley Stock Farms. If you can see over top the bull, there's cows out on that far hill. They are still on hay, they're still on bale grazing, and we've had some frozen weather the last couple days, and so they've got to walk a alleyway to get down to water. Because the portable tubs just aren't working. Or they'll work during the day, but they freeze at night, so we have to shut them off. And by the time they make it down to drink water in the morning, they've already grazed the alleyway, so we just kind of leave them in the alleyway for these days. A couple days. It wasn't be froze this morning, going to be froze tomorrow morning, and after that we'll fence them off the alleyway. But anyway, we're here to talk about new growth. So these guys, this is opening day. It also marks the first day on green grass because we have now grazed over the entire north side of the farm, all but this field out here in front of me where the Bradford pear are blooming, much to my dismay. That field has not been grazed, did not get grazed this winter, but we fed hay on it all winter last winter, so we didn't want to put them in there until the last possible moment, and now we got new growth. So this being August 8th, or April 8th, we didn't expect to have this much growth this early, so we figured we would hit that before we actually graze green grass, but it's just not the way that it's going to work out. So when you're grazing livestock year round, you run into this point where you're no longer grazing dry stockpile, you're grazing new growth, and they kind of quit grazing the dry growth and go to green grass, and they've probably been grazing pretty much new growth since 1st of March or middle March. And it's not something that we worry about, I guess, with the sheep so much. We would worry about it with the cows. We try to fence the cows up tight this time of year and let the grass get ahead of us. With the acreage we have here and the stocking rate we do, if we try to do the same thing with cows, we'd quickly run out of grass and we'd be back on hay. So we try to fence the cows up tight for a month there when grass really starts growing, and wait until it gets to that nice pretty 4-inch height. And we know we're going to have decent weather to grow grass in the forecast. I probably could have turned cows out 3 or 4 days ago, but the weather's turned cold here, and that's going to slow growth down, and we don't know that we're going to have enough ahead of us. Plus, I've got enough hay set out to get to April 20th. If I can keep the cows on hay to April 20th, I'm going to, because that'll finish up that field. We completely bale grazed that field. Unfortunately, the last piece is far away from the barn and close to houses, so it's not somewhere I like to spread manure. I'd rather go ahead and graze through it. But anyway, back to new growth. So yeah, we run out of stockpile grass, or we've been over the whole north side of the farm with these sheep. We're now on the first paddock that's been grazed twice, I guess, in this winter season. So this is both opening day on new grass and marks our return back to stockpile, what we'd grazed in the stockpile. And you can see, I mean, we got really good growth here. They got an acre here with this group, and I expect to not hardly be able to tell where they were when I come back tomorrow. We'll see. I mean, and that's the way we measure pastures. I kind of go through a calculation in my mind, how much weight I have here, how much they're going to eat, and then how many inches of growth I have. And this time of year, I try to make it maybe another half bigger than it needs to be. So quick grazer math, this group by weight times 3% was about 250 pounds of forage they're going to need. Or I guess I do it by 4%. Their weight by 4% was about 250 pounds of forage they're going to need in a day. We figured we got 250 pounds to the inch here, but we have about 3 inches. So we got an inch to graze, a half an inch as a buffer, and still leaving an inch and a half of forage here in this field. That's kind of the calculation we run through. Kind of nice to be back out on grass, and although after being through the drought last year, and I don't want to have a drought, but don't take what I'm about to say to mean it, but it was kind of a nice rest. And now staring down the grazing season in my mind, we've just been kind of keeping on for the last several years because that's what we knew how to do. But now, having that summer off and just feeding hay, I've learned that maybe I need to do some things that help speed this process up. And one of them we'd already started doing. You know, I build fences all on Saturday or Sunday, and then all I got to do is move animals through the week, and that saves me a bunch of time. But we need to look at other options too. Maybe some New Zealand type fence reels, some different waters, some multiple waters, so we can set waters up ahead of time too. That's in the plan. And I don't know, just ways to make this easier, to make it quicker, to make it faster, and spend more time doing other things that are more important. The other part I guess I was going to talk about, but I moved away from it, is they just came through that gate right out there in front of me, and they were to the left. They went out that field, and so one thing I have to think about when they come back in here is which way are they moving, because I can't bring them through that gate and double back right along it, or else some of them will miss it and they'll stay in that field, and it's a pain to do it. So actually that gate's a crossover point. When they come out of that gate, they come into this field. When they go back through that gate, when the rotation works, when they come back down this hill and through that gate, they'll go into that field where you see the bale and the tank. So it's a crossover move there, just to ease our movement. And you need to think about that as you're grazing livestock. How are they moving, and how are they going to move, and do we create any blind spots or any places where they're going to miss the gate and follow the fence instead of going through the gate? And that just creates frustration on your part and on the livestock's part too. And I had a moment of sitting over there thinking, okay, did I do this right, or do I need to do it differently? And the good thing is we'll go through this rotation and we'll find out what we like and what we don't like and how we rotate. We rotate a different direction, different way every year, pretty much almost every time. But once we kind of get in a pattern, it's hard to get out of it. But spring presents a great time to get out of the pattern, because you got just so much growth. You can turn around and go backwards sometimes and correct your mistakes if you have to. So we really watch this first rotation and look at what worked and what didn't work, and then the next rotation we know, or the one after that, we know, okay, we need to reverse and do something different because it's a pinch point to go through this gate, or it's wrong to do this, or I'm building the fences the wrong direction with the four-wheeler. I need to be building them the other direction. Just something we can learn from. So happy opening day to all you grazers out there. I hope all of you are going to be opening up soon. Like I said, we'll graze these guys through now, but the cows probably won't go out until April 20th if I can hold them off that long. But that'll say, we'll see you next time.